Hello and welcome to the incredibly influential and highly successful podcast. My name is Kale. I'm incredibly influential.
My name is Maxwell, and I'm highly successful.
Today is Wednesday, the 24th, as we're recording this. My goodness, we're actually recording on a Wednesday. Finally. Oh my goodness. It's so nice to just have it done and dusted and out of the way. Like, you know, early in the week. Oh, so nice. But yeah. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling rather grand. How are you feeling today, buddy?
I feel fine, but
That's
that's good you feel good.
yeah,
Good for you.
feeling good is good. And feeling bad is bad. So it's better to feel good than feel bad.
I don't really think feeling bad is a bad thing.
I think like it's a bad experience to feel bad. Not like you shouldn't ever feel bad. If you do, I'm gonna kill you. No, I meant more like, you know, it feels bad to feel bad. So you should, you know, try to feel good. Otherwise, you will feel bad. You know? I feel like that makes sense. I feel like that makes more sense in my head. I promise I'm not high. I didn't. I. Yeah. When I got. Oh, you didn't get to hear about my 420 experience, did you?
Nope.
Oh my goodness.
Did our listeners hear then?
Yeah, they did, but I want to
Okay.
get
Well
experience
then,
from someone who has smoked before.
but but you have told people.
I guess, but I want to know how you reacted to it. What is it like for you being high? How about let me ask that?
I
Because for
don't
me
know.
it felt very weird.
I mean, I guess, I'm just things are very different. There's not a really clear-cut way of describing it.
For me, it felt like my thoughts were racing very quickly.
Hmm.
It like they were like just absolutely going like a mile a minute. It was very weird. Um, so like that was odd for me. Was like how fast my thoughts were racing. Um, like they were going so fast that I couldn't put like I couldn't say them faster than they were going in my head. You know? So
Right.
yeah, it was very weird for me. And then like I felt super drunk. Like I lost my sense of balance. Like
Hmm.
I had to go upstairs and to my bed, and I felt like I was gonna fall like the whole time. So I'm glad I didn't. So that was very weird for me. Was just like, yeah, how that felt like I was more drunk than at any other point in my entire life. I have never felt more drunk than that, and that was crazy to me. I did not. Yeah, it was weird, but we did it. I was high. It's on my Patreon, not the podcast Patreon, but patreon.com/ktogston for free if you want to go and watch it. There's a video of I was playing Borderlands 2, and for about an hour, I only took one to begin with, and it didn't kick in, and then later on, I took two at the same time, so I definitely greened the fuck out. And yeah, I think it was pretty funny if you want to go and watch it. But yeah, that was an experience. Um, what else happened last week that you don't know about? I'm not sure. I don't think much of anything really happened last week. Um,
Then we're all caught up.
I think so. Yeah. Just because it's been so recent. Because me and Danny recorded. What was it? I think it was on. Was it Sunday or Monday night? I'm not sure, but since it's been so close between recording sessions, I don't have anything new. But maybe you have something from last week that you'd like to share with the class.
No, not really.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So I guess let's just jump into, you know what? We're gonna do nerd talk already. It's happening. Get fucking buckle your fucking fuckles. Okay, get your Star Trek communicator badges out, your fucking toy lightsabers, and your limited edition Superman underoos, because we're talking nerd shit. Get ready. Um, the Bad Bitch. We've got a couple episodes to catch up on. I think the last two. What are your thoughts?
Well, the last two that have happened recently, you mean?
Oh yes, yes, the most recent two, not the last two, like the final two, because those are next week and the week after. Um, for like, I think they're gonna be releasing on May the 4th. Like the finality is gonna be on May 4th. I'm not sure though. Don't quote me on that. But
Mm, That might make sense.
yes, we. So this episode is coming out on the 30th. We are this is not going to be our May 4th special. We're going to be doing our Star Wars Day special on May 7th. Um, for I am the Senate, for I am the seventh. You know, I am the Senate. I'm the seventh. You know that day, we're going to be doing that. Um, but yeah, that'll be what goes out that day. But this week, you know, let's talk about Bad Bitch. How's our bingo cards looking? Have you been checking up on your bingo card recently?
No.
Let me look at my bingo cards. Uh, so far, I have I think one. Tarkin showed up. That happened. Um, and that was it for me. Was that Tarkin showed up? But
Mm.
but you have what do you have on here? Batch hunted half the season, and I said we would give you that. Um,
Cool.
I'll give you that one. What else did you have? Nala Say is not dead yet, but do you think maybe we've had a bottle episode? Would you say that we've had a bottle episode yet, or would you say
Uh, I don't know.
maybe we could include like the prison episodes as bottle episodes? Maybe.
Maybe.
I'll give you credit for that one too. I'll give you credit for that one too. For like the first episode and that one episode where Omega was like locked up. Yeah, all right, all right. But everything else
Oh,
did you sorry, did you say something?
the Marauder.
Oh, yes, 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 that was the other one. I was like, what else happened? I knew you had more than that. Yeah, the Marauder got blown the fuck up. Yeah. I was thinking, you know, that Rampart was about to die.
Also, there's probably gonna be a Zillow Beast breakout,
That is true. That is true.
and
You've
I
got
put that on my card.
you've put it in the top row, which is the same row that Batch hunted half the season is in. So technically, yes.
I'm on my way to bingo.
Now you just have to have another Jedi, Bail Organa or Saw Gerrera, and Echo dying early. Which I don't know if we can say that Echo dies early because this is like the end of the show.
Well, if he dies before halfway through the episode, then
I mean,
maybe it should still count.
I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. I would say now that we're on like the second to last episode and he's still alive, I don't think we can count the early part. So I think you might be fucked on the bingo there, buddy.
Right. Then
Oh, buddy, old pal.
maybe we all are.
Maybe we all are. I'm certainly not going to get Bingo because I don't think we're getting Vader. Just going on based on these, Gunji is certainly not coming back. I don't think either Tech or Cody is coming back, and I think it's Cody. I think they might have the balls to keep Tech dead for now.
I think so too.
For now. I think if there is a sequel show, they're bringing Tech back. Because they didn't have the balls to keep Ventress dead, and they didn't have the balls to keep Echo dead, and they didn't have the balls to keep Darth Maul dead. So, really, if Tech comes back, I'm not going to be surprised at all. But we're still not seeing classic Stormtrooper armor yet. We're still not seeing, more Krennic yet. We're definitely not seeing 4 different lightsabers. I thought Ventress would have 2, but she only had the 1. And yeah.
So there's been about 1 in the whole show.
Yeah. No, there's been like 3 in the whole show. 3 or 4.
Well, one in the season.
Yes. But you know what? Hey, he's Dave Filoni is doing whatever he feels like doing, and that's what's gonna happen in the show. Is Dave Filoni gets to do what Dave Filoni does, and that is whatever the fuck he wants, because he has like basically full control of whatever he wants to do with Star Wars at this point, But hey, do you think that's a bad thing that Dave Filoni can do whatever he wants?
Well, I don't know.
Do you think overall Bad Batch has been worth it as a show?
He got like a higher position.
That is true.
So maybe he has the authority.
Do they respect his authority? Perhaps.
Perhaps.
I don't know. I think on the whole, I can say Bad Batch is on the whole more good than bad. Because a lot of season 1 was bad, but some of it was good. A lot of season 2 was bad, but some of it was good. But season 3 has mostly been good. Season 3 has mostly been, all killer, no filler. So, I don't hate it. I certainly don't hate it. I feel like the characters have really come into their own. Wrecker's not as annoying anymore. Jesus Christ, Wrecker used to be so annoying. Like, during, like, the Clone Wars episodes that they got introduced in, Wrecker was fucking obnoxious, and I hated him. Could not stand him. Like, I don't know why the Kaminoans would keep him around. Like, so what? He has super strength. He's also a huge liability because he's so dumb. And it's not good. But you know what? Hey, he's not as annoying anymore. He's actually somewhat competent sometimes. I can live with it. Also, Echo's still great. Echo, I feel like he's lost some of his characterization in between, because his main character trait back before he got blown up was that he liked rules. And then he sort of lost that in the episodes after Rookies. And now that he's back, he's sort of like, just sarcastic and cynical, sort of just like all the other clones, So I feel like he's just sort of lost a lot of his personality that he used to have back in the day. And I don't know if that's character development or if it's losing personality traits. Personally, I don't really care all that much. But damn if it isn't a little bit disappointing, because I really liked him in Rookies. He was always my favorite clone because he's fucking obsessed about the rules. And he had that funny line about, that's why we're not supposed to go outside. That was great. That's one of my favorite moments in Clone Wars.
Yeah.
It's a great fucking moment. That's why Rookies is like one of the probably the best episode of season 1. Wouldn't you agree? Like if you look at all of season 1, Rookies is like the best episode, right?
Uh, the best season 1 episode.
Other than Bombad Jedi, of course. Because as we know, any episode with Jar Jar is automatically peak.
Well, there are multiple episodes with Jar Jar in season 1, so that would mean there are multiple better episodes.
Well, Bombad Jedi or Gungan General, either way.
There you go.
You're right. You're right. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me for that horrible blunder that I have made. You know,
I mean, I love a lot of the. I mean, even the first episode is fantastic.
Ambush is very good. Ambush is very good. But you know, the fucking droid arc, the one where like
That's in season 4.
no.
Oh,
Actually, it's in
yeah.
season 5.
Hey, I know the one you're talking about. That one
Yeah,
is really dumb. I really like how they worked on that one before the movie. And
and you can tell because
you
it looks like dog shit.
yeah, and they decided not to go back in and like change anything
No, of
after
course
the
not.
movie came out.
Naturally.
So so it's got all these yeah. It's but they came a long way, so I guess it
I
gets a
mean, that is
pass.
true. That is true. They've come so very far.
But never forget.
No, how could I? It looks like dog shit. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's so bad. I don't know how they made it that bad, but they did. But hey, we got through it. And now I say just skip it. There are like 5 episodes which you can skip in the entire show. And
And there's hours of episodes.
yeah, there are literally actually I've counted it. There are 6 episodes you can skip in the entirety of Clone Wars. Or that are like definite skips. Right? There's fucking 105 and 106, which are the 2 droid ones. There's 405 and 406, which are the ones where C3PO and R2D2 are fucking hanging out. God, what a waste those 2 weeks were, right? Like the only cool thing that came out of it, I would say is I think we got some decent armor in Clone Wars Adventures when those 2 episodes came out. And yes, I was one of those kids who played Clone Wars Adventures because my family couldn't afford Star Wars: The Old Republic. So, fuck yeah.
I played that game too.
Yeah. Hell yeah. You get it. You get it. That shit was awesome. That shit used to be my life. I fucking love that fucking MMO. There's like some revival projects, but it's like definitely not like going to be revived like Star Wars Galaxies did, which is a shame because Star Wars Galaxies fucking kicks ass, but so did Clone Wars Adventures in an entirely different way. But I feel like if I went back and played it now, having played real MMORPGs, I feel like I'd be really disappointed. Just it's not even close to like Star Wars Galaxies or what's another one? What's the other one? The Old Republic. Yeah, it's not even close. But hey, that's just a theory. A gay theory. Thanks for watching. I don't know what I'm saying, man. I've lost my fucking marbles.
Amazing.
What was the last 2 that I said you can skip? Let me look. It's Mercy Mission Nomad Droids. Oh, it's the disappeared. It's the ones with Jar Jar.
Oh, and Mace Windu.
Yeah. Isn't it sad that both of the Jar Jar episodes in season 1 are unskippable?
Why is it sad?
Because they suck. Because Bombad Jedi leads to Cloak of Darkness, leads to Lair of Grievous, which is good, right? Cloak of Darkness is good because you get more Ventress. Um, Lair of Grievous is good because you get more Grievous, and you get Kit Fisto, and you get his apprentice who gets fucking murked just so fast. Fucking yeah, but he's voiced by SpongeBob. Did you know that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, Tom Kenny. So Tom Kenny plays the villain and one of the heroes in that episode because he also voices Newt Gunray.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Tom Kenny getting work. Tom Kenny got a lot of work on this show.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. But then Dooku captured and Gungan General. You can't skip Gungan General because it introduces Hondo. And Hondo is an essential character for the rest of the show. Which fucking sucks that you have to sit through Jar Jar to get Hondo. Ugh, gross. Disgusting. Yeah. Yeah, shame. Really is a shame, but whatever. Yeah. It so much of Clone Wars you'd think would be skippable, but it's really not. Right? Like you'd think like it's an anthology series, you can skip some of it. But like not really, you know?
Right.
What would you say is your favorite episode of Clone Wars? Since we're about to say goodbye to Bad Batch, what was your favorite episode of Clone Wars, and what has been your favorite episode of Bad Batch?
Putting me on the spot here.
I am putting you on the spot here.
I mean,
There's a lot of very good ones.
there are a lot of good ones.
So many good ones. I feel like even if I asked you what your favorite arc was, you'd still be like, hey, you're still putting me on the spot here.
I mean, maybe the one, the Lost Ones. That one's pretty cool. That one's where the Jedi are like, whatever.
Oh, yes.
What really happened to Sifo-Dyas?
Yeah, that one was cool. That one's
like that one feels reminiscent of like, I don't know, the like first episode where Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan are like on a mission, just two Jedi trying to uncover a mystery.
I was gonna say it reminds me of Obi-Wan going to Kamino.
Right.
Like ironically, since Sifo-Dyas went to Kamino.
I mean, there's so many good ones. It's so hard to pick one. Like Lair Grievous is another favorite.
I was gonna mention that one's probably my favorite of season 1. All right, how about this? We go by season. We pick our favorites from every season. Let's go. Season 1. You just said Lair of Grievous.
I mean, I might like the Hidden Enemy more.
Hidden Enemy's really good. Hidden Enemy is very, very good. I will give you very credit for that. The mystery in that is pretty fun.
I like that, it's not just about the clones, but Anakin and Obi-Wan are like in that episode too.
Yes.
And they get to do some fun stuff.
Yeah, but they take a backseat like narrative-wise and like character-building-wise.
Well,
right?
it's the Clone Wars, yo.
Yeah, exactly. I would say Rookies or Lair of Grievous or it's hard to choose between Jedi Crash and Defenders of Peace, but one of them. Just because I like the themes in it. But the Ryloth ones are so good too. Fuck.
They are.
I'll say Rookies. I'll stick with my guns. I'll say Rookies is the best.
Okay.
Season 2. Season 2 has so many good ones.
Some of these episodes have really funny titles or names. They do.
Oh man. Actually, fuck. This might even be harder because you've got banger after banger after banger in this. You got fucking Cargo of Doom. Great episode.
Yeah, but that's what I was saying about funny names.
Yeah. I wish they made Cargo of Doom into a level in Lego Star Wars. Because there's not too many in season 2 that made it into Lego Star Wars: The Clone Wars. But one of them that did, Grievous Intrigue, really fucking good. Love that one. The Deserter is pretty good just for like character moments. Landing at Point Rain has some of the best action in the series.
I might just cheat and just say, well, I mean, I don't know. There are a lot of good ones.
Voyage of Temptation. Voyage of Temptation is probably, I would say it's probably the one that has the most impact, like culturally, because a lot of people like meme the, because it's like the first appearance when Anakin plays like Imperial March when he does something bad, or bad in air quotes.
It's also the closest Obi-Wan gets to,
Mhm.
admitting that he he had other intentions than being a Jedi.
Oh, he literally says, if you had told me to, I would have left the Jedi Order for you. Fuck yeah. It's great. Yeah, I would say that one. Voyage of Temptation might be my favorite, just like overall. Great action, great character moments.
That's fair.
Spooky. It's got the spooky moments. I like that one. Um, but yeah, Grievous Intrigue, Cargo of Doom, Voyage of Temptation. Those are my 3 favorites, I would say. Season 3.
Wait, you didn't ask me about my favorites.
Oh, sorry. What was your favorite?
Yeah, so I would say that um for me, if I were to like go 3, 2, and 1, like you did, because you got to
Mm-hmm.
pick 3.
I can't pick just one from season 2. Season 2 is too good.
I would say I would pick Bounty Hunters as 3.
That's a really solid one.
Uh,
Hard cut.
Kurosawa inspired
Mm-hmm.
stories are
Mm-hmm.
pretty good.
Very
Uh,
nice.
Cat and Mouse,
Yep,
just
another good one.
you know, and a good episode with you, Lauren.
Yes, you Lauren
And
get some good characterization.
this episode really like carries Trench as like one of the coolest villains created for the
Yes.
show.
He doesn't really get to do anything else in the entire fucking show.
Yeah, but he does a lot in this one episode,
Yes,
which
it's
is
so
great.
cool. And it features the Providence class destroyer, which the fucking Separatists have the coolest warships in the entire fucking series, man.
And
The
then
Munificent, the Providence, oh my god, they're so cool.
I might take George Lucas's side on this one, because you would probably disagree, but I really like R2 Come Home. That one is
That's
so funny.
Is that George Lucas's favorite episode?
It's not his favorite. His favorite one is the one where they're in the void, where all the
George
droids.
Lucas has the shittiest fucking takes in the world, but
But
okay.
it's so like I don't know. R2 Come Home is like very Star Wars. When it
It's
comes down to
funny.
it, when it comes down to it, the real people who save the galaxy are the
Or the droids.
droids.
Oh yeah, 100%. I would say it's very reminiscent of the first 30 minutes of A New Hope when it's just R2 and 3PO out in the fucking desert, right? It's very reminiscent of that, and I'll give it a lot of credit for that. But
But
also,
I think the moments in that episode are really good.
yes,
Like
it's very good.
uh yeah, I mean there's tension in like all sorts of moments in the second season, but
Hmm.
there's something very fun and comical about it being about R2.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not bad. As far as droid centric episodes go, it's not the worst. It's certainly not the first two uh uh like those 2 episodes in season 1 that they never fucking finished and just put out on Cartoon Network. Certainly better than those.
Hmm.
I'm trying to remember what my first episode of the Clone Wars was that I saw. I'm
Mine
trying to
was
remember.
mine was Ambush.
I don't know if it was Ambush because I don't know if I knew that it was on at Friday nights on Cartoon Network. I'm not sure, but it might have. I think it might have been Lair of Grievous, and I just caught the other ones on like reruns. I think it might have started on Lair of Grievous, but fuck it, I love Lair of Grievous. Lair of Grievous is fucking awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, season 3. What do you think?
You're not gonna like this,
Evil
but
plans. You're gonna say evil plans. I'm sure.
I was gonna say Pursuit of Peace.
Pursuit of Peace. Pursuit of Peace. Pursuit of Peace. Fucking which one is that? The one where the bounty hunters try and kill them? That was awful. That one sucks.
No, this one is like just you sent me a text earlier and you were like, we should have a debate about Star Wars politics. And this
Uh-huh.
is one of the best episodes about the politics of Star Wars.
I will say, and we're saving this topic for the May 4th special. The reason why I can't get into those politics episodes is because I hate Padme and I hate her politics.
Yeah, but that should you know, I would try and reflect on why you disagree with Padme's political ideas.
Because she's only a pacifist when it suits her.
I mean, yeah, because her life has constantly been under threat.
But she
So,
never wants to stop the people who put her life under. I'm not gonna debate this yet. But Padme sucks. She's a bad person and a bad wife and a bad politician.
she kicks ass in this episode.
Yeah, she is cool. You know, she picks up a gun and goes pew pew sometimes.
No, I mean like her politics kick ass in this episode.
But think about it. She's making it harder for her husband, making it more likely that he's gonna die. So she's not a very good spouse.
Not really, because you believe that investing in more clones for the war would end the war quicker, right?
I mean, it would give them more troops to work with.
But
They're
like, wouldn't
outnumbered
wouldn't
10
you
to 1.
feel wouldn't you feel that like siding with something that Palpatine supports would be a little suspicious? Like there might be some undertones in that sort of narrative that
Given the
might be
knowledge that
evil.
she has, which is not that Palpatine is evil. She does not know that.
Right. She doesn't, but she still believes that more clones is not a solution to end the war.
So as far as she knows, she's opposing the guy who's winning the war. And if Anakin can't replenish his troops, he is more and more likely to be killed. Like,
I
there's
know,
less clones
but
to take a bullet for him.
isn't it crazy that like we can know who's the bad guy and you would still support him because his ideal is
If I had the knowledge that Padme had, and I was married to a Jedi who was out on the front lines dying, like potentially dying,
but not but I mean, I understand that posing of risk, but we also should like remember how the Jedi are not intended to be soldiers, and that like
no.
their repurposing of becoming soldiers is like one of the steps that leads to their ultimate downfall in the story.
See, I disagree because
That
they're
they turn from being uh not fully pacifists, but you know, uh you know, protectors of peace, right? They like, but then they turn to uh, they turn to fight in the war, and they
we're
deem it
we
necessary to
we
fight in the
can't
war.
we can't do this debate. What's your favorite episode in season 3? I will have points. I will
It's
have a fucking
it's
slide.
pursuit of peace. It's pursuit of peace.
That's the one. Over
Yes,
Night Sisters, over Monster, over Witches of the Mist,
Yeah,
over the Mortis arc, over
because
everything in the Citadel.
because the story really moved me in this episode.
I don't know. I can't. I can't.
I know you can't,
I
but
can't get behind her. And also, I can't get behind when she's like, when she on Heroes of Both Sides, she goes to fucking, like, that episode has some cool action. You know, it has like the
yeah,
droids that
that's the
fucking.
precursor to my favorite episode.
Technically, it's not because actually, I think they have this
It
listed
is.
wrong in order. In the order of the, like,
No,
chronological order that you're supposed to watch this on Disney.com.
it
I
is. The reason that she goes, like, they're about to pass a bill to delay the war, and then they, like, are, there's like a planned attack on, ooh, there's,
Okay,
there's
no,
a,
they do have it in order. My bad, my bad.
the, the, this arc is just such a, it's so good. It's so good and very underrated. And I think,
211.
uh,
211. Oh wait, no, it's
it's,
not.
it's not brought up enough because, I mean, for one, it is very political, but
Oh, no, it's
it
311.
it's
Okay, they do have
it's
it
a
in
very
order.
good
They do have it
story.
in order.
Yeah, I
Okay.
know they
They
do.
have it in the wrong order on Disney.com. And they would make you watch Pursuit of Peace after Anaconda Far gets murdered, which is obviously wrong because he gets murdered. They used I think somebody went in and fixed that, but it used to be a typo. But I can't get behind when she goes to Raxus and she's like, and the fucking what's it? Mina Bonteri is just giving her shit, just talking so much shit on the Republic all the time.
I
And
mean,
Padme isn't like, well, Count Dooku tried to have me murdered. Like, oh, how do you, like, fucking defend against that? Your fucking boss is a Sith Lord. Your fucking boss shot Force lightning at my fucking husband, asshole.
yeah, I mean, they're her her political leaders are corrupt. Yes.
As far as Padme knows, Count
Okay.
Dooku is the Sith Lord in charge of the entire fucking galaxy. And,
But
like, yeah.
but you know, these people were her friends before the war as well.
So, but what I don't understand is,
Like
why doesn't she say,
their turn of opinions to not support her side does not end her relationship to those people as friends. But
yeah,
their efforts to try and come to a peaceful resolution leads to the death of her friend as part of
from
like a
Count
political
Dooku?
attack.
All Padme had to do to warn her about fucking Dooku is, hey, by the way, Count Dooku tried to have me murdered like 10 times.
But I still don't understand how you can just blame the separatists for that when you know that like the person who commands him is the leader of the Republic.
No, I'm just saying, like, Padme should not let Mina Bonteri talk her shit on the Republic when she can just be like, yeah, but your guy tried to kill me. So, like,
because because her making that argument doesn't dispute all the other points that her friend makes.
no, but the best way to change the Republic is from within, as far as Padme knows.
But do you understand the problem in believing that?
But the worst, but like,
But do
but
you
think about
understand
it
the
here.
problem in believing that? Because it's impossible to change it from within when the leader of the entire group is secretly and inherently evil.
You are arguing from a Doyleist perspective. I'm arguing from a Watsonian perspective.
I don't. What do you mean, Doyleist Watsonian? I'm just talking about Star Wars.
Doyle Doyle was the author of Sherlock Holmes. Watson was a character within it. So when you argue from a Doyleist perspective, you're arguing from outside, from an audience perspective. From a Watsonian perspective, you're arguing from within the character. And I'm trying to argue that from Padme's perspective, with the knowledge she has.
But you understand that she's a politician, and the episodes are about her doing that. Her doing the whatever Watsonian approach. She is trying, like, these episodes are about her trying to find a peaceful resolution to the war in the way that she knows how, and how and why those efforts are prevented from being successful and leading into the episode 3, right?
I feel
So,
like a really good argument to get Mina on her side and get her back from the separatists would be, hey,
but
your
you know,
guy tried to kill me.
but why don't you understand that, like, she values her friend because she is on the opposition, but she she is still willing to have an open discourse with her.
I know that that's part of it and that's why she like respects her. But I think a part of that open discussion should be, hey, Count Dooku tried to murder me.
But every time you bring up that, you you try to ignore everything else that's being brought up in the discussion by
Well, one of
constantly
the big
falling back to one thing that happened. Like, we understand that that happened and we understand that it's wrong, but
Okay, I guess we're
we're
just having this
unable
debate now. I guess
but
we're just
we're
having this debate in this
I'm
episode.
just saying that there's no way to make a push and, correct decision forward without trying to understand the current events alongside what's happened before.
Okay, we're gonna go to the ad break, but I want to I want to circle back to this either in
Later.
the next part or in the next episode. But I do have points about this. I and I have been hating Padme since like the beginning of the pandemic is when it finally clicked for me. But we're going to the ad break. We'll be back. This episode is sponsored by Liquid IV, the #1 powdered hydration brand in America. We've been partnered with them all summer, and I've been using it to beat the heat through some of these particularly nasty heat waves. While it was scorching hot outside, I was staying cool and refreshed with Liquid IV and their 12 delicious flavors.
One stick of liquid IV in 16 ounces of water hydrates you twice as fast and far more efficiently than water alone, and it also contains 5 essential vitamins and 3 times the electrolytes of leading sports drinks, without any GMOs, gluten, dairy, or soy. Liquid IV is also committed to equitable access to clean water worldwide, partnering with leading organizations to fund and foster innovative solutions with communities that protect both their water and their futures, and donating 39 million servings in 50 plus countries around the world.
Real people, real flavor, real hydrating. Get 20% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use code IIHS podcast, all one word, at checkout. That's 20% off anything you order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code IIHS podcast, again, all one word, at liquidiv.com. Thank you again to Liquid IV for partnering with us. This podcast is sponsored by Amanda Redwine, your no-nonsense talk therapist and parent coach. Serving individuals and couples in both Illinois and Florida for counseling/therapy, as well as worldwide for parent coaching. Amanda's specialty is working with teens and young adults, as well as their family systems. Amanda has extensive experience working with youth who identify on the LGBTQIA+ spectrum. She has also done couples work based on a foundation of the Gottman method. She brings a light, no-nonsense approach to treatment that is approachable and empathetic. She is unflappable and makes her clients comfortable from the very beginning. Find out more at www.amandaredwine.com. That's AMANDAREDWINE.com. Thank you again for sponsoring this episode, and back to the show. Okay, we're back.
Can we just like get through the rest of our favorite episodes from each
I
season?
was about to say I'm shelving the Padme debate for next time.
Give me your favorite episode from season 3.
Now, this is a hard one because Supply Lines. Oh, fuck. Oh, man. Supply Lines is so good, but so fucking bad at the same time.
No, I get what you mean.
Oh, fuck. The highest highs, the lowest lows.
I think it's peak Jar Jar.
No, peak Jar Jar is in the Aftermath novels when he becomes a clown. I actually like that version of him because it's not like I don't have to see it and hear it and watch it. I just have to read it.
But I like his, he does some really cool stuff in this episode.
Yeah, he does his like juggling and shit. Um,
Exactly.
I mean, I fucking guess whatever.
Well, you wanted to call it your favorite episode.
I want to say it has some of the best parts. It has a lot of tonal whiplash, right? Like fucking people are being massacred. We watch a Jedi general get fucking gunned down along with all of his troops. But the fucking people of Ryloth are saved because fucking Jar Jar juggles at a dinner party. And I think, yeah, I don't know. As far as action goes, I would say ARC Troopers has some of the best action in season 3. Season 3 kind of is light on action for a lot of the middle parts, you know? Heroes on Both Sides barely has any. Pursuit of Peace, fucking awful action. Evil Plans has nothing. Assassin barely has anything. Academy barely has anything, you know? Sphere of Influence is pretty good because it has Greedo. Um, it has Greedo and Seth Green. I forgot about that. I would say ARC Troopers and Clone Cadets are up there, and is it Monster or Witches of the Mist that has the part when Savage goes to the temple and murders everybody?
That would be.
I think that one's Monster. I think that's the end of Monster.
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah, and the beginning of Witches of the Mist has Delta Squad.
Yes.
Monster has very good action. I would say shit. I don't know. A lot of these stop being good as episodes and start being good as arcs. So it's like it's hard to pick just one good episode.
But you can still pick a favorite.
It's hard to pick a favorite because like they all blend into like arcs so well. Counterattack, I would say, is my favorite of the Citadel arc, which is one of my favorite arcs in the whole show. Like, because it has the part when the clone gets cut in half by the vent because they were venting and it was sussy.
Doesn't this have like the Tarkin and Anakin moments?
It also has the Tarkin and Anakin moments, some of them. And it has the part where Echo blows up. That legitimately got to me. So I would say Counterattack. Clone Cadets and ARC Troopers. I'd say those are my top 3. But season 4 is going to be even harder to pick a favorite episode. Fuck me, that's hard.
Well, I would say Counterattack is pretty good.
Counterattack is very good. Yes. You don't like Clone Cadets and ARC Troopers?
I mean, they're good, but there's just some really good moments in that other episode.
In the Citadel arc, yeah. I would
Yeah.
agree.
Well, just the one you brought up specifically.
Yeah.
There's some of the most like it's really funny to watch Anakin agree with Tarkin on these things because it's like
that's actually the closest they ever were, like as pals, right? Because Darth Vader hates Tarkin's guts, right?
I know, but he respects his authority.
I mean, kind of.
Yeah, when Tarkin says Vader, release him, and he does it.
I mean, when he says "as you wish," he's clearly being a sarcastic little shit. He doesn't fucking like Tarkin. You get it in the Tarkin novel. He doesn't really like Tarkin, but he sort of has to put up with it because the Emperor said he has to. And then when Tarkin finally fucking dies, and the Emperor finally says, "All right, Vader, you were right. The Death Star was kind of cringe. You can be the favorite boy." And then Vader's like, "Fuck yeah, I can choke anyone I want. Woo!" And he fucking loves it. He's having a gay old time, let me tell you. Ooh, what's your favorite season 4 episode, and why is it Carnage of Krell?
I mean, It's hard to pick a favorite. I'm like looking through these.
Carnage of Krell.
I mean, I really like um so many of them.
As far as action goes, it's always going to be Carnage of Krell, The Box, and probably Massacre, I think. Yeah. Those just have super good action. Water War is good for action. Yeah. I think Carnage of Krell is just fucking phenomenal. Friend in
Yeah,
Need is pretty fun. Friend in Need's not bad.
I
I think
mean,
we, yeah. I don't know. I think at this point in the show, there's not really any, like, at least in this season, there are no bad episodes except for Mercy Mission and Nomad Droids.
I know, but we got to pick a favorite.
Yeah. I'm picking. The Box is really good. The Box is super, super, super good. Massacre is super good. Bounty is fun. Brothers and Revenge is cool just because that's when Darth Maul came back. Um, how do you feel about the Water War arc?
It's really good.
I like that arc too. I think
It's
I
actually
think it's slept on.
it's really good to come back to. Like
Yeah,
I went back to watch it and I was like, the pacing is better than I remembered.
it is a very well paced 3 episodes. I think it is a really good arc. Um, Slept on really. Everybody always talks about Umbara and the Darth Maul one, but nobody really talked about the Water War one, and I think that's a shame
It is good, and it's
because
got
you
Jar
get to.
Jar in it.
It's
Like,
got fucking Admiral Akbar dual wielding rifles and killing a bunch of Cthulhu motherfuckers. That's awesome. Like, come on. And it has like the goriest moment in like any Star Wars ever.
yeah, with the finale.
Yeah. Like, come on. We get to see a guy's half decapitated head. Like, come on. That's fucking sick.
We get to see like the Venator rest on the water, which is crazy.
Was it the was it a Venator that got to rest him? I guess it was. Yeah, I
I
think it
mean,
was.
maybe it was like the command ship.
There was
I
a
don't know.
consular class I know that
Yeah,
rested on the water and then got blown up. But then
there's
also, yeah,
also all the water droids
yeah.
are great,
That was the
really
first tease
creative.
of Phase 2 armor, actually. We got to actually see Captain Rex in his Phase 2 armor.
No, we don't.
No, we
They
did. We
actually,
did.
no, we don't. We don't. Like I know what you're talking about. It's the first time we do see troopers in a new phase, but they didn't have his character model like rendered or completed. So he's actually still wearing the phase 1 armor in
Wait,
that
hang on.
episode.
I'm re
You have to go back, but when you go and see it, it's literally the same one he's been wearing, but it's just uh he's not wearing a helmet, so it's less obvious.
hang on. Hang on. Here we are. We're at the gunships part. I'm on my cellular data, so it's taking a second. Here we go. The Venator is not resting on the water, is the consular class. Shit! You're right. Fuck, he isn't wearing the helmet.
And he's in the phase 1 armor. And you can
Oh,
tell
yeah.
because of the pauldron.
Technically, he doesn't change out of Phase 1 armor. His Phase 2 armor is just the add-ons of Phase 2 grafted onto his Phase 1 helmet.
But his pauldron changes.
His pauldron does change, yes. Um,
So I'm right.
but that is the first time we get to see Phase 2 armor on a clone. They do show it in a hologram in Season 3, but you never get to see it on a clone until then.
Yeah, and they're ARC troopers, obviously.
Yeah, the different because they have the little fin on the back of their head still. But yeah, fucking love that arc. That arc is great. Even though it has Gungans in it and Jar Jar. Jar Jar is at his most bearable in that, I would say. What's your favorite episode in the Umbara arc? And the Umbara arc is undoubtedly your favorite arc. So with that episode is probably your favorite of season 4. Let's be real here.
I actually kind of like Friends and Enemies. I think that one's my favorite.
Friends and enemies. Friends and enemies. Friends and enemies. Oh, you like that one more than the box?
I mean, I do like the box,
The
but
box is so good.
uh, and I'd be a sucker to say it's my favorite, but
You get to see the Starhopper, and the Starhopper is my favorite starfighter in Star Wars. It's so cool.
I think I laugh a lot more watching Friends and Enemies.
Yeah, Friends and Enemies. I don't
It's
know. I
just
think the box has
it's
better jokes.
well, I mean, the scenes are it's a they're both very good. It's hard to like pick a winner.
It feels like that whole arc is a good Western, and I love that. It has so many good Western vibes, and I love it. Like that. That's great. Um. All right. So, Friends and Enemies is your favorite of season 4. Okay. All right. Fair enough.
There's a lot of good moments in that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Anakin is very evil.
He is. He's pretty evil in the first one of that too. Um. Yeah. I'm almost kind of mad that they snitched. Like they finally were like, Anakin, you're being too evil. We have to tell you our plan now. Obi-Wan is alive, and we lied to you because if you were because you're really bad at acting, pretty much.
They don't do that until the last episode.
No, they tell him at the end of Friends and Enemies because Rachel Hardeen says some shit to Ahsoka, and I
No,
think it's like during the box.
he whispers to Anakin. That's it.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's not to Ahsoka; it is to Anakin. But like, do we even see him during the box, or is it all just the bounty hunters?
It's all just the bounty hunters.
Okay, then that makes sense why they didn't say it. But still, like, yeah, I feel like they told him too quickly. But yeah, makes sense. All right, season 5. What are we thinking here?
Don't know. Have to look.
There's the Onderon ones, the Ilum ones, the D Squad arc, and then the the Mandalore one, and then the Jedi bombing one. Oh man, there are no standalone episodes in this. There's kind of one standalone episode that's sort of a continuation of another arc, and that's it. This is they went heavily into these, but yeah, Tipping Points is really good. Missing in Action is good. Everything in the Mandalore arc is amazing.
I actually really like Eminence.
Yeah. That's some of the best action in the series. Because you get to see the Krait's Claw versus Darth Maul and Savage Opress. That's fucking sick.
Yeah, and it's really well done.
Yeah. Like you get to see them take out the yeah. That has some of the best action in the series.
Also, Maul is just so
yes.
compelling.
Yes.
He really steals that whole episode.
Yes.
And I mean, the whole arc is about him, but
yeah,
it definitely like it gets you like excited for everything else that happens in the rest of it.
I'm a little disappointed that the Lawless doesn't really end with Obi-Wan fighting Darth Maul.
Well, the point is Maul wins.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't make sense that like they fight because he's already defeated him.
That's true.
And there's already a fight. He fights Pre
in
Vizsla.
Revival at the beginning of the season.
Right.
Oh, and he also fights fucking
yeah.
Palpatine. Yeah, I would say the Lawless might beat Eminence just because the fucking Palpatine versus the brothers fight. Oh my god. That's my favorite duel. Maybe in all of Clone Wars, definitely, and maybe in the entire saga. Holy fucking shit. It's so good. I love that. Watching Sidious get to go all out with both his lightsabers, because you remember, he's got two, and it's fucking sick. Oh my god.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
amazing.
I would also say that Maul's fight with Vizsla is also up there.
That one is fun. It's sort of reminiscent, and I know you can speak to this. It's sort of reminiscent of like, you have to fight like Jedi and Sith as the bounty hunter in Star Wars: The Old Republic, and it's sort of reminiscent of how you would fight them. You use all your gadgets and your jetpack and your,
Yeah, it
you know,
reminds me of
yeah,
it reminds me of Obi-Wan and Jango Fett
yes,
in Episode 2.
it's like that, but like way more brutal. Yes, yes. Lawless might just beat Eminence, just because of how good the character moments are and all that. I would say the Lawless might be my favorite, followed closely by, if I have to pick one that's not in that arc, the Wrong Jedi is very good. Very good emotional moments, good duel against Barriss. Yeah, just very good all around. Love it. Love to see it. And you said the Lawless was also your favorite?
I'm not sure. There's so many good ones.
There
Like
are.
I'm like even the Onderon one. Like I think
That last one in the Onderon one was very good.
that's what I'm referring to.
Yeah, the first two are kind of meh. The one where they rescue the king is pretty okay, but Tipping Points is so good. Tipping Points is awesome. Because like the fucking droid gunships are so cool.
Yeah, it's a.
Yeah,
I mean, I think I still. I don't know. Like I get like how much is like happens, and there's a lot of cool things that are in the Lawless, but I think I still like Eminence more.
I
That's
would say that's a fair choice.
that is just like you can root for the bad guys the whole episode and have fun.
Yeah. What would you do? What would you say about the last episode of season 5, aka the last episode before it got canceled?
Well, it's definitely the peak. There's some like I don't know. There's like the most revealing things that happen in that one episode. It just
Yeah,
kind of uh bears naked to how the Jedi have really changed and that
yeah,
they're not who they don't represent what they stand for.
yeah. I love the part when Barriss Offee is like, um, the Jedi have become fucking murderers and shit, and Anakin's like, "Fuck you, bitch, we're not murderers," and then ignites a second lightsaber to show how wrong that bitch is, and then kicks her ass. It's fucking awesome. I love it. I love that he just whoops her ass. Um,
I mean, this might also like if I had to pick another one, it would definitely be this one, the
yeah,
Wrong Jedi.
that's my third. That's my third. All right, season 6. You said the Lost Ones. I also say the Lost Ones.
But let's give a shout out to some other ones.
Orders is good. The Unknown is great. Um, I would say the middle two in that arc is it goes on a bit long. But it's all very important for yeah. Um, the first two episodes in the final Clovis arc, kind of meh. But Crisis at the Heart, very good.
I mean, I like parts of the like
Getting to see Embo be a villain is cool.
yeah, I was gonna say
Embo
he's
versus
very
Anakin
fun
is
to
very fun.
watch.
Why doesn't Anakin just say, Embo, can we just like not, bro? Like you saw that I would whoop your ass. Can we
Or like
not?
remember that time we worked together?
Yeah, like you know that I'm a fucking badass. You know I will whoop your ass. Just fucking give up, man. you can't use your credits if I kill you, you know?
This
But
was also a really good arc. The like shifting of Banks to fully support one side of the war kind of helps in uh, you know, understanding how we reach the end of the war in episode 3.
yeah,
It's like the presence over Coruscant is really the last ditch effort to winning the war for the
now
separatists.
what I don't understand is they're using banking clan frigates. Why isn't the Republic like, hey, you assholes are working with the separatists? Like, Obi-Wan saw Sand Hill at the meeting. He saw, like, they've been using intergalactic banking clan frigates this whole fucking time. Like, what the fuck? Like, come on.
Well,
Don't
I
don't
mean,
don't piss on my back and tell me it's raining, you know?
I guess,
Yeah. Um
but you can also see that they have representatives in the Senate too.
Oh yeah.
So
Lot Dodd is in he's the Trade Federation representative in the Senate. He also gets ganked as fuck along with Sandhill in Mustafar. In the command room in Mustafar. I would say the best part about Crisis at the Heart though is the scene with Commander Thorn, because Commander Thorn's a fucking G. Love him. Rest in peace, my man. Pour one out for an OG. But yeah, the Lost Ones is the best one by far. By fucking far. And now we get to season 7, the last one. Oh, we also have to decide which ones we like in Bad Batch, but there's only 3 seasons of that. All right. Season 7, what do you think?
Shattered.
Shattered is very good.
Or Phantom Apprentice, I guess, is what
Phantom
I meant.
Apprentice is also very good. Good lightsaber duel. Good moments between Darth Maul and Ahsoka. She's so close. Like, if she sided with Maul, they probably could have saved the galaxy. But like the road to hell is paved with good intentions, right? Like, she didn't side with him, and then, you know, Anakin went bad. And like you see her being like, Anakin would never do that. Like, I like the trust in her friends, and like the not wanting to stoop to the villain's level. You know, normally it would be a good thing, but in this instance, it fucking dooms the entire galaxy, and it's so sad to see. And I think that's a really poignant part. Old Friends Not Forgotten is really good, because you get like the part where you know, Ahsoka is talking shit to Anakin, and Bo-Katan is talking shit to Obi-Wan. Or I guess Ahsoka's talking shit to both of them. Like, you can tell. She's fucking, yeah. She's pissed.
That's my favorite episode.
Shattered or Phantom Apprentice?
Phantom Apprentice, by far.
I think maybe Shattered might clinch it for me. Shattered is really good. That Order 66 scene, I think. I don't know. Just real quick, who's your favorite Order 66 scene? You got Jedi Temple, Plo Koon, Kiadi.
I mean, probably the one in the show.
That one's pretty good. I would say my personal favorite is Jedi Fallen Order, but that's my second is that one. But Jedi Fallen Order is so fucking good.
The comic book version of Kanan Jarrus' story.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Right as we're about to talk about Bad Batch Season 1, too. Right as we're about to talk about that, too. You had to bring that up. You had to bring that up. Fuck you.
Because it's good.
The comic version is good. The
That's
Bad
why I
Batch
brought it
version
up.
is bad.
Well,
Yeah. Well, they fucking decanonized it now.
oh
It's
no.
I don't know. It's fucking ugh. What's the best season 1 episode of Bad Batch?
Do we ever talk about our favorite episode from Visions?
I didn't watch season 2 of Visions, and I only watched half of season
What?
1.
What?
I
There's
don't
some.
like anime all that much, and they're not canon, so I haven't had the time to like devote myself to them because none of them are canon. No, my favorite episode of Bad Batch season 1 is probably War Mantle, or maybe one of the Camino ones. What about you?
I don't know. Um, shit. I
I
don't
think
know.
it's War Mantle that rescues is where they rescue Gregor, right?
Uh, I I think it is.
Yeah, that one's
Uh,
my favorite.
I don't have them. I don't have the episodes up. I have to pull them up.
It is. It is. Yep. Yeah, that's my favorite season 1, and then season 2.
Let's just get the rest.
Season 2 makes it not very difficult.
Well, I guess. Ooh, reunion, definitely.
Reunion in season 1.
Yeah.
Which one is that? Which one is this? Is this the one where they go to Braca?
Yeah, but it's after they've gotten their inhibitor chips out.
Oh. Oh, yeah, this is the one where they give Crosshair tryptophobia head. Yeah.
That one is great.
I don't know. I still like the Gregor one more. Or one of the Camino ones. The Camino ones are good.
I mean, there's one that's like an hour long.
Yeah, it's the part 1 and... Well, that's the first episode, and I can't give it to the first episode because fuck you, Dave Filoni. You suck. No, my favorite in season 2, either Solitary Clone or The Outpost. Maybe Clone Conspiracy. Clone Conspiracy is pretty good too. But yeah, I fucking love. I love when the Bad Batch doesn't show up in the Bad Batch. I love when it's just Crosshair.
The Outpost is also pretty good. I mean, yeah. So
yeah,
just
but
the ones that are not about all of them, just about Crosshair.
Because the Bad Batch fucking holds the show back. Wrecker holds the show back. He's insufferable. He is what Ezra, Zeb, and Chopper were to Rebels. Which is a fucking tone killer, right? Hunter and Echo and Tech could hold a serious tone, but Wrecker fucking ruins it. And I'm glad they figured out how to make him less annoying in season 3. Not fully unannoying, but less annoying.
Right.
Yeah. I would say for season 3, thus far, it is that first episode. That first episode's really good. I like what they did with it.
So what do you like? What did you like the most in the second season?
The one that I liked the most second season was either the Solitary Clone, which is the one with Crosshair and Commander Cody, or the Outpost.
Okay, cool.
I think the Solitary Clone cinches it because it has better action. Um, but Confined in season 3, that first episode, great, love it, so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just it feels really good, and it shows that these shows can be good, like just good character work, without a bunch of action and shit like that, you know. But yeah, that was a good episode. We're not going to talk about Rebels. We're not going to do our favorite episodes of Rebels because fuck Rebels.
I definitely suggest you try a couple episodes um
Visions.
of Visions. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we can both say what our favorite episode of Tales of the Jedi is, though, just real quick. Just real quick. It's the one where Dooku kills Yaddle.
Yeah. I mean, I also like the second one.
Where Dooku and Qui-Gon?
Um, no, the third one, I mean.
Dooku and Mace Windu. That one's okay.
Yeah.
That one's okay. I like the one with Yaddle more. That one really does the best for like Dooku's troubled arc. See,
I mean, you're right. You are right.
I
but-
don't like Dooku. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think they fucked up the writing for Dooku, and I think Clone Wars gets him wrong. Both versions, but I think both versions of Clone Wars get him wrong because
Why do you think the movies got him wrong? Like,
no, I think the
he
movies
has-
got him right.
oh,
I think at his most interesting is when you can't tell if he is like asking Obi-Wan, like genuinely asking Obi-Wan, "Hey, help me destroy the Sith Lord together." You know? Like the Jedi wouldn't believe Qui-Gon, and that's why Qui-Gon died. So we're going to destroy the Jedi and make a new order that's better, right? And we're going to destroy the Sith, right? Like when you genuinely want to believe him in that, I think that's when Dooku is at his most compelling. When
you're right. He's
but
so
then
good.
yeah, but then Clone Wars, makes him just fucking boring. Like he just, mustache twirling evil villain, right?
I mean, like he's also at his weakest in the Clone Wars, which is also kind of interesting.
He is. I think in Tales of the Jedi they wrote him very well, consistent with that one scene in Attack of the Clones. But then they forgot that all of Clone Wars just has him as a really boring mustache twirling villain. But I don't know. He was only compelling for like one scene anyway. So for the rest of the movies, he's a mustache twirling villain anyway. So it doesn't really matter.
I feel like Christopher Lee adds more to the character than that.
I mean, he makes it a good villain. He's got that pedigree, but like overall, for most of his very limited screen time in those movies, he's just a boring villain. He has one scene where he's actually like, interesting and like you think that maybe he's got some depth to him, but he doesn't.
I mean,
and that's a shame.
I was gonna say that like my favorite episode of season 6 is like about him. So
Yeah.
he's a very essential part of what makes that episode so good.
Yes. Especially that duel with Obi-Wan and Anakin there at the end is very good.
I mean, also he helps illustrate the power of Sidious.
That is true. He's also very good in that last episode of like when Yoda has his vision. He's very cool in that part.
But
that
that's
vision
just
part is super cool.
That's just a premonition of him. It's not actually him.
I know, but it's still cool.
But yeah. No, it definitely is. I like how he doesn't have he's in his pajamas because They ran out of budget.
It's technically not his pajamas. His pajamas is a different outfit. You can tell because in Battlefront 2 they have the dark ritual outfit. Um and they also have the pajamas outfit. You can
Nice.
make Count Dooku run into battle in his PJs in Battlefront 2.
Let's go.
Fuck yeah. It's great. Love it. But yeah, no. I think Dooku could have been much more compelling, and he is one of the characters in Clone Wars that they do not do very well. Almost everyone else
We just talked about all the ways that he was done very well, though.
Yeah, but I think that they let him down in the whole compelling villain with compelling motivations.
The thing is, like, most of these episodes are, like, not about him, even, you know?
Yes, but
So,
when
like,
he is on screen, he's not like, talking to the Jedi and being like, hey, City, the fucking, there's Sith Lords in charge of the Senate. We could take him together. Come on.
He already did that.
He only did it once. He could have fucking tried to get Anakin on his side.
Well, that would have been really boring to, like, watch him do
so.
that the whole time when we know he's already tried, and we're supposed to know that, like, we're supposed to accept how Anakin is, like, okay with killing Dooku, and so it wouldn't make sense that Dooku tried to reason with Anakin.
Maybe, but like he
for
could have
him
tried to
to
reason with Yoda or Mace Windu, somebody. I just don't like the mustache twirling villain when he could have been so much more tragic. I think there was potential to make him like a very tragic villain.
You said that Tales of the Jedi also helped.
I think Tales of the Jedi works with that one scene in Attack of the Clones where Obi-Wan's in jail. I think that works to make him more compelling and tragic. Like making Dooku human and like emotional and like aggrieved it's so good. Corey Burton gives the performance of a fucking lifetime. I'm sad Christopher Lee didn't get to like come back and voice that, or like at least get to see it, because like I don't think Christopher Lee took Count Dooku very seriously. But like,
why not? Why do you say that?
I don't think anyone in the prequels took that shit seriously because nobody was telling George Lucas no. So,
but why are you gonna like deny their, passion for their projects? That seems unfair.
I think if they were passionate about their projects, they would have stood up to George a little bit more and made it a better movie.
They're actors. When do you?
Mark Hamill stood up to George Lucas in the original trilogy.
I know, he got rid of one line.
Harrison did it too. Carrie did it too. Everybody did it.
Okay, but that doesn't mean that they ran the show by doing that.
No, but I'm saying like
they still George Lucas has a job, right? And his job is to be a director. So it doesn't make sense to expect other people to do his job for him.
He shouldn't have been the sole screenwriter and director, though. That's the point. He was not qualified to do those jobs. The best Star Wars films are the ones not directed by him.
Did he direct Episode 4?
He did direct Episode 4. I don't know if he fully wrote Episode 4. But that's the one exception because, he had Francis Ford Coppola. He had Marshall Lucas. He had people who stood up and said no to him. In the prequels, he did not have that. The prequels are fully his vision, and that's not good.
Well, I still enjoyed those movies, so...
Now that I am an adult, and this nostalgia has worn off, I do find it harder and harder to sit through Episode 1. I rewatched it recently with my ex, and it was very difficult to get through. And the luster of the Darth Maul duel there at the end is no longer as good for me anymore.
What? Really?
I think it hasn't aged all that well.
You don't like the how they get separated and how he's supposed to like the the choreography is so good in
Who
those
is Darth
scenes.
Maul as a character
Well, like
in that movie?
I mean, he's not fleshed out, right? We can all agree on that.
I
But what is that? How does that detract from what he does or his actions? It's
for
like,
me,
oh, he's not really like a really interesting character. So I was actually really bored when he killed the main protagonist of the film because I just was so bored. Like, what? That doesn't make any sense.
a fight scene has to have motivation and characters behind it.
It
You
does have
have
motivation. He hates the Jedi. He gives you two lines and it explains his whole motivation.
I
Why do
don't
you
think
need any
that's
more?
because I don't think that's enough characterization for him.
Well, I'm sorry it doesn't tickle your fancy, but it's serviceable.
It's serviceable, but I don't want serviceable. I want good, and I know this series can do good fight scenes because it has done them.
Why do you say the fight scenes aren't even good? Like
It did them
they
19 years
practiced
prior.
they practice these choreographies and these fight scenes like over and over again, and
Fight
they're
scenes aren't about
intense
choreography.
and they're fast and they're, you know,
It's not about how it
dynamic.
looks.
Then what is it about?
It's about the characters.
It's about the characters in the fight scenes.
I
You
care.
hear how
Oh
ridiculous you sound?
no, that's not a very rare opinion. Is that most people who dislike the prequels say that because they couldn't get into the characters, then the fight scenes were pretty much meaningless. Fight scenes have meaning when you care about the characters in the fight, right? Like in
How do you not care about the fight at the end? It's literally the song they named or the song they play after or during this fight is called Duel of the Fates.
yes, I
The
understand. And
the
even with the
stakes
added
are
context,
there.
even with the added context of uh they're fighting over Anakin's fate, right? Because if Qui-Gon lives, Qui-Gon trains him as a Jedi. He doesn't turn to the dark side. You know? Like that's like they're fighting over Anakin's fate. Even with that added context.
I don't understand the criticism because like we criticize the fight choreography in the sequels like a lot. And there's there's stuff we can poke fun at there, but no one has outright poked fun at like the fight choreography in the
They do.
prequels.
They do. Anakin's stupid fucking twisty moves and all that shit and how they don't even look like they're trying to like kill each other. Like none of their swings are going in a place that would kill the other person. People have made these complaints before. You just probably haven't like seen them. But people have made these complaints before. These
Okay.
fights aren't perfect, and I can't get into Qui-Gon because at the end of the day, he's kind of a pointless character. He doesn't need to exist in this film
Why not?
because first of all,
He's perfect.
he
He's
actually
perfect.
makes
He's
the
perfect because he captures everything you imagine the Jedi are supposed to be, and he represents that. So he's a perfect character for the the you know those those ideas that are supposed to be like represented in the movie. He does that.
I would argue that that only needs to happen because George Lucas retconned.
What do you mean he retcon? He wanted the Jedi to all die, right?
No, he
He was
retconned
like,
what the Jedi were like, right? Because you know, uh in A New Hope, in Empire Strikes Back, in Return of the Jedi, they never say, "Oh yeah, by the way, we're weird monks, and you're not allowed to bang anyone, and um, you're not allowed to have friends."
I
In
mean, it's such a weird assumption that like, I mean, it feels like it doesn't it doesn't fully go against what was already established in the original trilogy because, Yoda is like, don't go and save your friends because you're
he
not
says
ready. And if you do that, you put the fate of the galaxy at stake, which feels like something very reminiscent of how Yoda approaches everything in the prequels. So why is
I
it so
think it's
different?
different. I think there is a line of demarcation there, which is A, you're not ready. Vader will either kill or capture you
But
and use you against
it's
us.
so frustrating to like try and draw these lines in between the continuity when like an effort was clearly made to try and connect these two stories that were told at very different times.
I think
Like why can't
Qui-Gon
you appreciate that?
I think Qui-Gon
Why can't you appreciate it?
represents what the Jedi are supposed to be from the original trilogy, but he has retconned them into being weird monks who can't get attached to anyone. Even though Yoda didn't say, don't be attached to anyone, it just makes you fucking cringe and go to the dark side. He says, don't go to them because you're trading their few lives for the lives of the entire galaxy. Like that's a much more measured take, right? That's a much more reasonable thing to say, other than you cannot form any attachments at all, even though Anakin literally points out the hypocrisy of this in episode 2 when he says, we have to have compassion for other people, but we can't have too much compassion because if we do, then we turn to the dark side. And it's like, fuck you. The Jedi's power comes from connecting with others.
I mean, I think the imperfect qualities of the Jedi is what makes them very compelling. It's not really something just for criticism.
I think I think in the
Like no
original
one's
trilogy,
like 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 things like that are also subject to not being perfect. I think it's a perfect way of like trying to, you know, create a a sort of fantasy level of powerful beings that are supposed to be the like peacekeepers of their world. But, they have some values that seem to go against what they what they prioritize, or what their mission is, or like how those values, you know don't allow them to fully embrace their what they can do. There's a lot of nuance in it, but I don't think it should be like it doesn't help to just say, "Oh, I, I don't like it." Like there's
but I also don't think that Obi-Wan is written very well in that movie.
in
I don't
episode
think
1.
he gets a lot of compelling writing until episode 2. I think Qui-Gon gets one really good scene. He gets one I would say one really good line of dialogue. He gets one very good line of dialogue.
I love everything he says.
I I think a lot of it is
What is the one thing that you think he says really well?
uh so it's during the dinner scene. I thought I've told you this one
You did.
before.
But what about, there's such a great moment when he talks to Anakin too. And he's like, trust your instincts. Don't think, feel. And it's like,
Yeah, but it's ruined because he's talking to fucking annoying little kid Anakin.
oh, I'm sorry that ruins it for you. And you can't
It's a
just,
really bad performance. Like I don't
from
want to
Liam
bully the
Neeson.
guy. No, from fucking Jake Lloyd.
Well, my point is about what Liam Neeson's character says. So why are you bringing up Jake Lloyd? And,
Because
it's
I have to be invested
doesn't.
in the full scene,
Oh, I'm
right?
sorry. I'm sorry you can't be invested in the full scene because you're so angry at this 9-year-old.
I'm not angry at him. I just don't think it's a good performance, and I don't think it's written very well. I like what Liam Neeson tries to do.
Or that you're so disinterested in what's happening because like, it's what's on it's the movie. You can't really change those things.
But
So,
then I can't really change how I feel about it either. I like scenes with good
I mean,
dialogue, with subtlety, with nuance. And the one time there's a subtle line of dialogue in the entire film is when Qui-Gon says, I wish that were true. That is subtle and it has nuance and it's well delivered and it's well acted and I think it is well written. I think that is the one time George Lucas gets a good line of dialogue in there. But the rest of the time nobody talks like a fucking human. Like, you know how in
I
uh
think I think you looking at a 9-year-old and being like annoyed and disinterested in his presence on screen is stripping your ability to connect with what's happening.
nobody talks like a human in those movies. Like, watch episode 6, right? You know when Luke and Han are reunited, they're like, "Luke, Han, how you doing? Same as always. That bad, huh?" That's good dialogue. That's how people talk. George Lucas did not have anyone else on screenwriting duties to tell him, "George, that's not how people talk." Like, remember that one line that Mark Hamill made him cut?
I don't know. I just like, yeah, I know the one line you're talking about, but
There's a lot of other
you're
lines in A New
but
Hope
you're
that are like that.
yeah, but you're comparing that to entire movies
No, I'm
filled
comparing
with
it.
dialogue, filled with lines and sentences that people are saying, and everyone is putting on a performance. And you are saying none of them are are seemingly human in how they talk. And it's ridiculous that you could say that because it doesn't
There's
this
no
this movie
banter.
doesn't.
There's no
How
fucking
could you
moments
say
of
there's no
levity.
banter? There's so many quips in these movies, and
There's
they're the
like
perfect demonstration of what you're talking about, and you just don't accept those for what they are. So then gonna you're not gonna agree with me on this, but they're there in the movie.
there's like the negotiations were short part, but like it's not delivered like a joke in the like in the originals, right? The
Well,
jokes in the originals,
how is it not a joke? Why do
it's
you
not
what?
delivered right. It's when it's not the
What?
writing, it's the delivery in the prequels. Those are the problems I have with it. It is if it's not the writing feeling organic.
How do you not get that as a joke? They
No,
literally
I
had no
understand. I literally
negotiations.
told you that it was a joke. I literally told you that it was a joke. I'm saying it isn't delivered right. And I'm saying that when the writing is good, the delivery is usually not that good. And when the delivery is good, the writing's not all that good. But
Wow.
sometimes during the
Is
prequels,
is banging your table helping you?
you get these really good moments when the writing and the delivery are both really good. Obi-Wan and Dexter, good writing, good delivery. Like,
I
those
mean,
are the points when people are friends in that movie, when people actually like each other. Like that's a key element in the prequels that is like sorely lacking. In the originals, you can tell that, like, Luke and Han, like, they start out not really like getting along, but like by the end of that first one, and in Empire and Return of the Jedi, they like each other. They're friends. But in fucking it takes until like the Dexter scene in episode 2 and the opening scene of episode 3 for like our main characters to actually like someone and be friends with them and like have that warmth there, right? Like, we get a little bit of it in the elevator scene in episode 2, but then they immediately go back to like bickering at each other and like yelling at each other. Like, Obi-Wan's always like talking shit on Anakin, like in that balcony scene where Padme's sleeping and the droid comes in and delivers the centipedes, and Obi-Wan's just talking his shit to Anakin. He's like, "Oh, I guess your senses aren't as attuned as mine. Sucks to suck. Stop being a little simp bitch," And it's like, bro, you're supposed to be friends. I'm supposed to care when you guys like kill each other.
he's also supposed to be his master. Like that's kind of the it's kind of supposed to be the dynamic they have. It would kind of go against what's established as their relationship in that movie if he acted differently.
When Obi-Wan describes
Like it makes sense the way they act in the third episode because by then they have already built this relationship and Anakin's not a Padawan anymore. He's a knight. So, of course, they're on a more equal level in how they interact with each other. So, I don't see what the criticism is in the way. Obi-Wan talks to him in the second movie. It makes perfect sense for why he would say that.
It's super jolting to go from like the last moment when they are like talking to each other in episode 2, like the last dialogue they have together is Anakin disobeying Obi-Wan and Obi-Wan being disappointed in him. Because the last
Well, it's that
lines
he
they have
almost did it.
together.
He almost did it. He didn't actually do it. But it
What do you mean?
that he was like, I'm gonna go jump after her and save her.
No. I'm talking about I'm gonna go in slowly on the left, and Anakin's like, "No, I'm taking him now." And then literally the last dialogue they have together is Obi-Wan yelling at him, and it's fun, and it's a jolt to go from there to in episode 3 they're buddy again. And I think
Well, you have to understand that years pass, right? Like, does that have to be explained to you in a
they should
more
have.
direct way than that? Like, you can't just like connect the threads yourself.
I shouldn't have to. I should be able to.
You should. You
The
should. It took them
first
4
thing
years to make this movie, and they intentionally are like, s- you know, dressing up, having hairstyles changed. It's supposed to like show you that time has passed
three
because that's what
years
happens.
they the
3
first
years
thing
passed.
Obi-Wan describes Anakin as is he was a good friend. That is the first thing he says about Anakin.
Okay, that makes sense. Why would it not make sense?
But they're supposed to be brothers, right? You are my brother, Anakin.
In the
I
third
love you.
movie. In the third movie, yes. Right?
That is how they're supposed to see each other. You know, Qui-Gon sees or Obi-Wan sees Qui-Gon as like a dad
And
or a brother.
and by the third movie, it makes sense. Like the way the dialogue exchange between them and how they talk, it makes sense that they think of each other as brothers. Are you
But
saying
Qui-Gon
that?
doesn't treat Obi-Wan like that. Qui-Gon says, you know, Obi-Wan's ready. Obi-Wan like he like reminds him of things, but he doesn't like talk down to him. Like I get that Obi-Wan's like doing that for Anakin's arc,
Well,
but
they
I
have a
think there should
different
still be warmness, right?
relationship, you know? Like it's not supposed to be the same. Like Obi-Wan doesn't refer to Qui-Gon as a brother, and that makes sense because they don't have that relationship.
No, he
So
views him as a father, and I will agree that there are parts of it where it's like he is not supposed to be Anakin's master. He didn't want to be Anakin's master, but he's doing it for Qui-Gon in Qui-Gon's memory. And so there's parts of it. There's like reasons for them to like bristle, but at the end of the day, in episode 2, I should come away thinking that Anakin and Obi-Wan like each other. They are friends, right? Like
why? Why? Why do
because I
you
want
have
to
that
be
expectation?
invested. I want to be invested when they have that fight at the end and they are, you know, two friends fighting to the death,
But
right?
that's not the point of the scene. The point
It's
of the
not a
scene is not that they
tragedy.
the point of the scene is not that they're getting along. It's expressly how they are unable to work together.
I'm
So
saying
the
there
scene
should
would
be
be
more scenes
ruined.
of them working together, of them being friends, because I don't buy it when it's only like half a movie of them being friends. They spend most of episode 3 apart anyway.
But but the half of that movie where they're doing that is all with the intention of proving that. And it does it perfectly. It does it effectively.
They
Not
get along during the first part
the
of
first half of the movie. The first
it's
half
not
of
half.
this okay.
The first quarter up until they crash the ship,
Okay, but
and then after
the movie
that they
is
fight again.
the movie is not shifting the focus on anything else. The movie is directing specific attention to their relationship and how well they get along. So you shouldn't
Episode 1
need
should have
more.
been the movie where they don't get along. And quite episode 1 should not have existed. Episode 1 should have started with Anakin as a Jedi.
Okay, but
Episode
you're
2
not
should have been the Clone Wars when they start to work together as a team and become friends.
why are you not why are you not engaging with the material that already exists? Like
I'm
I get speculating, but this is not the conversation we're having. We're talking about what is there and what exists. And this is how their relationship was built in the movies. They didn't get along in the second movie. They had conflicting interests, which made complete sense because Anakin was all about wanting to disobey this one clause that the Jedi believe in, and
Maybe
Obi-Wan
they
is
should have gone
Obi-Wan.
from
Obi-Wan
not getting
knows that,
they should
and
have
so
gone from not getting along at the beginning of episode 2 to getting along at the end of episode 2. If they want to have a point where Anakin is
why?
bristling under
Why?
Obi-Wan
But why would they do that when like Anakin's ultimate decision is to disobey his master's wishes?
to
Why would they?
make it
Why
more
would they get along?
tragic. To make
But
it more tragic when they eventually do turn on each other.
how does that? How does them getting along before he he violates his trust make it more tragic?
Okay, if Anakin when Anakin turns on Mace Windu, it's not really that sad, right? Because they never really had that good of a relationship to begin with, right? But the juxtaposition of them having good moments to turning on each other makes it a tragedy. This is fundamental storytelling. Everybody always says that the prequels are Shakespearean, but Shakespearean doesn't mean talking weird. Shakespearean means having high levels of emotions, having characters who talk about their fucking feelings instead
Well,
of just doing exposition.
what
And then
part
being
of
like,
what part of the story makes you feel like they're not doing that? I feel like those movies are all about people talking about their feelings and their inability to act on them. Because what
there's
else
the
is
love story that's about that. There's a
okay,
lot
but
of I wish I could just wish away my feelings, which is a terrible line.
I'm sorry that this is so disappointing to you. But
Don't
I
say the same
personally
word twice in a line. It doesn't really work. That's like screenwriting 100, not even 101, George. It's 100.
I'll just say that I like what's done in those movies, and I still do. And they're not perfect, but there is there is still something to engage with that has a semblance of cohesion and nuance. And it's interesting to engage with on a level that's like, oh, what is being said about these things? And there's more to it than just saying
Oh,
on a surface level, I don't like what's being done, and
there's
I
great
have a
parts in the
different opinion
prequels.
about what should be done, because that doesn't really that doesn't effectively look at the piece in its entirety, which fails to bring something new. You you can't really add something if you haven't fully acknowledged what already is there.
I do acknowledge what's there. There are parts of the prequels I like. For example, I sort of pieced this together when I was watching Phantom Menace recently, which is that Palpatine's move to get elected um is really really great because Padme comes home to Coruscant. She says, "Fucking help us! The Trade Federation are being dicks." Chancellor Valorum, he's already done a lot. He sent secret ambassadors to go and protect her and like do negotiations and stuff like that, right?
To
Like he's already
investigate the
done this.
blockade.
Yeah, he's already done that, right? So he's done more than like almost anyone else would. And guess what? Anyone else does because Palpatine gets elected without ever having to do anything about the Naboo situation. Like the Queen comes home, does a motion of no confidence, and then leaves. And she doesn't even wait for Palpatine to get elected. He just doesn't have to do anything, and it's
Well,
great. And
because
that's fucking awesome.
because she can't wait.
Exactly. Yeah, like she can't wait. Yeah, but fucking Palpatine is like does not have to do anything, and it's awesome. He
What do you mean
doesn't
he doesn't have to do anything?
like
He's
he
like,
doesn't send any troops or additional Jedi or like use any Republic resources at all because
but
the
the
two
thing is,
Jedi
we
go
already know
back.
what he's done in the movie. He sent the blockade.
No, I'm saying like again from these characters' perspective, he gets elected and doesn't have to do anything. So Chancellor Valorum does more than Chancellor Palpatine does, but because Padme is young and naive and Chancellor Palpatine is good at manipulation, he gets her to believe that Chancellor Valorum hasn't done enough, and so she gets rid of him. But Palpatine does less for this situation as a Republican, as a Republic Chancellor than Valorum does. He does less than Valorum does, but Valorum got voted out and Palpatine got voted in. So he doesn't have to do anything to help get rid of the blockade. He already, like Valorum already did it. You know, he sent the Jedi, right?
Well, he didn't actually do it. Like, the point is the blockade is still there by the time she gets back, and she goes there to ask for help in overtaking or removing the blockade.
Yeah, and the 2 Jedi that Valorum sent to protect her went back and protected her again. So technically that's just a continuation of Valorum's orders. So Valorum fixes the blockade and gets voted out for Palpatine to come in. And I think that's great. I think that's hilarious. That's a fucking awesome.
It's hilarious.
In a different like political movie, that would be like a plot point. And
I mean,
like,
it's more tragic than hilarious.
I think it's hilarious that everyone in the Senate
it's
like
supposed to mark the beginning of the end for the Republic.
But he gets the situation done. It's like darkly hilarious, right? Like,
I mean, like,
he's pulled the wool over
right?
everyone.
Do you not get it? Do
No,
you
I get
how
it.
like he uses what's in his power to make a difference, and he's voted out, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that should reflect a failing of the system.
I know. I'm not looking at it from Valorum's perspective. I'm looking at it from Palpatine's perspective. I think if you're rooting for Palpatine, it's fucking funny. Because people should be like, wait, Valorum fucking did all of this and he got voted out. No good deed goes unpunished. And it's like, you know.
But the problem is Palpatine had the support of the person who was directly experiencing the problems.
Yes. But at the end of the day, and Padme never really brings this up, and the movies never really bring this up, because I don't know if they actually are cognizant of this, but Valorum fixed the problem and got voted out for it, for his trouble. And Padme never is like, wait.
Say that again?
Valorum fixed the problem and got voted out for it.
I mean, I don't know. I think
by sending the Jedi to begin with.
I think the point about Palpatine manipulating her is more interesting to work with, because you know, he does it from like a position where he says there's nothing I can do, but it's like, and you're right, he does less.
He does nothing.
But
he only gets elected after the fact.
But he does it by doing something else, right? By talking to Amidala and saying, you know,
by reverse psychologying her.
Right. But that's what he does. He is manipulating people.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, from Padme's perspective,
which is something. But that is something.
Do anything.
That's but we know he's manipulating people.
Yeah, I'm not looking at it from my perspective. I'm looking at it from, like, an ordinary galactic citizen. If the knowledge ever came out that Valorum sent those Jedi, and, like, but he still got voted out for it, it's like, well, shit, you know? It goes to show you the Senate sucks, because fucking Valorum actually did the work here, and Palpatine got to come in and do all the credit just because he got voted in right when the situation resolved itself with the 2 Jedi that Valorum sent. I think that's funny. But we have to do the big red button. I'm keeping this under 2 hours. Quick big red button. you get trained as a Jedi by Qui-Gon Jinn, but you have to watch him get stabbed by Darth Maul in front of you.
Well, not even Anakin had that.
He didn't really get trained by Qui-Gon, though. He got less training from Qui-Gon than Luke did from Obi-Wan.
Well, my point was that he didn't even get that because he didn't get trained and he didn't watch him die.
Oh, true. But then again, he wasn't all that attached, you know? Like, I feel like the stab in the... it would be more of a gut punch if you got more attached to him. Get it?
I'll hit the button.
You want to be trained by Qui-Gon? I never really thought Qui-Gon would have been the best Jedi Master. I think he's too flighty. I think Obi-Wan or Yoda would have been better.
That's kind of shocking, considering
or
how...
maybe pre-Darkseid Dooku, because look at how good Qui-Gon turned out.
Well, I don't know. I feel like we're giving a lot of credit to the teachers without looking at how their students have responded with their teachings.
That is true, because Luke did really disobey the shit out of Obi-Wan and Yoda.
Not only Luke, but so did Count Dooku.
And also Count Dooku. Did Yoda ever train anyone successfully? Probably not.
Did anyone Qui-Gon? I mean, I guess technically Dooku did, but I'd say Obi-Wan never faltered.
Oh, I would say, yeah. But I think if Obi-Wan trained a different pupil, I think if Obi-Wan had waited till he was ready, or like if Obi-Wan had taken a different apprentice during Clone Wars, like if Ahsoka went to Obi-Wan during the Clone Wars instead of Anakin.
But I think it's interesting to think about how what Anakin taught Ahsoka is very essential to her success.
That is true.
Her life.
I think it was a good decision for Yoda to pair them together, but I think if Obi-Wan did get another apprentice during the war, that apprentice, if he had like graduated before, Order 66, I think that apprentice would have really gone someplace, because Obi-Wan, everybody always talks about how Anakin is like the youngest Jedi Council member, but Obi-Wan has barely any experience as a master before he gets on the council. Because if you look at the timeline, Anakin turns to a Jedi Knight, Obi-Wan turns to a Jedi Master it's the same time, because that's the last requirement to become a Jedi Master, is to take a squire to a knight, right? So
squire.
Yeah, like that's basically what they are.
But the word is Padawan.
It's less syllables to say squire, but so he becomes a Jedi Master in 22 BBY, the day that fucking Count Dooku chops up his legs and shit, blah 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 blah. He's a Jedi Master now, and then like 2 years later he's on the council, right? Barely any experience. All the other Jedi are getting mowed down left and right in the Clone Wars, but he's thriving. Obi-Wan really is the best Jedi. Like, I would say, if you want to talk about, like, who is the most skilled, powerful, and, like, overall competent Jedi, who is the, like, pinnacle, the paragon of Jedihood, it's Obi-Wan. And I'd say if you want to best embody the Jedi tenets, you pick Obi-Wan. Would you agree with that?
Well, that wasn't the red button.
I know. So I would also say yes, because I feel like Qui-Gon is like close second, but I just think Obi-Wan is the paragon. If you want to be a Jedi Knight, you train under Obi-Wan.
I mean, that's cool.
But yeah. Let's plug the socials and end this before 2 hours. Thank you, Justin Connor, for your patronage. Really appreciate it. We're coming up on 2 years of you supporting us. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much. If you want a cool shout out like that, head on over to patreon.com/IIHS podcast, all one word, or look in the description. You get a free shout out in, well, I guess it's not free. Like, it comes with your support, so you're paying for it. You get a shout out at the end of every episode and in the description, and you also get access to the first part of our episodes, so up to the ad break. You get early access to that. And if you join our $5 tier, you get access to the full episode ad free as soon as it's done editing. And you get access to all of our movie commentaries, including. I'm trying to get. I did make a promise in the last one. I did say that I would get our friend Chris on and we would do Speed Racer. And I said that would be the next one. But May 4th is coming up, so I'm thinking we might do one for Star Wars. So I'm sorry. I don't know. It's one of those. I'm not sure what the next one will be. It's up in the air. I don't know. But definitely one of those two will be our next one. So head on over to patreon.com, sign up for a $5 tier. Also, if you want to keep updated with us on social media, we are at IIHS Podcast. Again, all one word, on Threads, Instagram, and YouTube. I think we have given up on Blue Sky. I don't think it's a thing. I don't think it's going to be a thing. But yeah, Threads, Instagram, YouTube, we are there. We're still not active on Twitter, so sorry to disappoint you, but just it sucks. Twitter sucks. Yeah, but I don't have anything else to say. Let's try and keep this under 2 hours. We've only got a few minutes left, so let's end this. Let's wrap it up real quick. My name is Kale. I've been incredibly influential.
My name is Maxwell, and I've been highly successful.
We'll talk to you guys next week.